All right, what's good, everybody? It's Kyle, the Shot Callers, coming at y'all with another video. Uh, ignore this Twitter thing right here. It's just meant to be background, so I'm not taking up your entire screen. I'm not that self-centered. Unfortunately, we'll be missing Richard and Robin today. They weren't able to be with us, so hopefully they can be with us next time. But I had to get this video out to y'all, and we had to talk about Game 4, of course. I had to kind of catch that game at work. But hold up, let me backtrack real quick. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Make sure y'all follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shot Callers Show. Right there at the bottom of your screen at Shot Callers Show. That's two S's where it says Shot Callers and Show. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave a comment. Turn on the notification bell. We're a small channel, so it's easy for our videos to get overlooked. Uh, or if you're not watching us on YouTube, leave us a rating on wherever you listen to us on your podcast. And speaking of that, you can find us on Acre FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker, and Pocketcasts. So let's go ahead and get right into this game. Game 4. It, it it was really a crazy game from start to finish. I'll go ahead and start out with this is a bit of a spoiler alert right here on the screen right here, but we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Starting out this game in the first quarter, uh, it looked like okay. After the first quarter ended, I felt that it was a problem that Phoenix wasn't putting Milwaukee away because in that first quarter, Milwaukee they shot horribly. They shot like 32% or something like that. Like really bad. Drew Holiday was taking a lot of shots. Also in that first quarter, it was strange because Giannis he went out early in the first quarter, which is like he's your star player, MVP. Well, more than star player, he's your superstar player, MVP, and you're in the NBA Finals, and he's going out in the first quarter because he needs to take a little breather. Which and like when I saw that, like I thought that was really strange, and I thought that that meant significant problems for Milwaukee because the game just started. Well, the fact that you have to take a breather already in that first quarter, I thought it was a bad sign. But as we learned later on in this game, like it ended up being a like it went ended up working out just fine. He like saved energy. He didn't take many shots in the first half, especially in the first quarter. Um, and I guess that was just him saving his energy for the second half because that's when he really showed out when they needed him the most. Um, so that definitely caught me off guard. But so that was a concerning thing for Milwaukee side. Not only that, but Drew Holiday, he wasn't shooting very well, but um, and he continued to not shoot well in this game. But again, he played great defense. Especially he had the assignments of Chris Paul and Devin Booker, so two very difficult people to guard in the NBA, especially when you have the pressure of the finals on you, and you're not shooting well. So he did great in that regard. Like he did what he was supposed to do. Like he played amazing defense, and it's really a statement to like his mental game to show like despite not having it going on the offensive end, like he's still making smart plays and putting in the effort on defense. Um, but anyways, on the other side of things, especially in that first quarter, like I was saying, Milwaukee shot horribly, but they were only down by 4 in like at the end of the first quarter, and I thought that was a pretty serious problem. Like if Milwaukee's shooting that bad compared to Phoenix, like there's like you should be taking them out of this game. Like and the reason why they weren't able to put him out of this game because Milwaukee, despite Milwaukee like shooting worse, like they were able to get more shots up because Phoenix had like 5 first quarter turnovers, which is pretty uncharacteristic of them. Um, Also, Milwaukee, I believe they didn't foul Phoenix that much either. Um, so that was another thing going for them. Um, so, but yeah, the fact that they weren't putting them away, it left a thought in the back of my head, like, oh, like Milwaukee's probably gonna come back, like there's no way that they can continue to shoot this bad throughout this entire game and continue to be down. So it was only a matter of time, in my opinion, before Milwaukee probably comes back, and that's probably to you know uh, Robin will he'll smile gleefully down upon me, uh, just because he called the Bucks in seven, so he's definitely telling me to shut my mouth when I had Phoenix in like six, or I just had him winning the finals. I think I called him in six, but um, yeah. So continuing on from there, uh, I think going into halftime, the game was tied, but in the second half, Devin Booker. I mean, in the second quarter, Devin Booker was playing great. Uh, in that first quarter, I think he opened up the game like he had like six of w- the Suns' like first 12 points. Um, and here he is right here, highlighting him. But he ended this game with like 40 points, I believe. Actually, let me go ahead and pull that up on NBA.com. Yeah, yeah. So right here. Game four, and then there's a final score, uh, 103, 109. Uh, let me not do condensed. Let me get a box score. There we are. So, Devin Booker, he finished with 42. Yeah. So, but with a plus minus of zero, and that's probably because of how like the foul trouble that he was in. And that's been a problem with Devin Booker. Like I feel like throughout the playoffs, like especially in the Western Conference Finals and I think in the first round as well against the Lakers. But like because he's a good defense, like he puts a lot of effort on the defensive end and he's a solid defender. Uh, he gets physical with guys and especially in this game, like Chris Middleton, like they would get Devin Booker to switch on to Chris Middleton, and Chris Middleton would just go at him and draw the foul, or he would draw the foul on uh Drew Holiday, or I mean Drew Holiday would draw the foul on Devin Booker, except in the fourth quarter, which we'll come to that weirdness that happened. I mean, yeah, like I said, we'll get to that. I'll not jump ahead of myself, but yeah, Devin Booker definitely went off, especially having that terrible game last game, only finishing with 10 points. So he definitely stepped up big time this game. He's done that before. He did it before in the Western Conference Finals, I believe, and also uh, I'm not sure if he did in the Lakers series, but he definitely did it against the Clippers. Like he had a rough game, like 15 points, and he next game he came out, hot, firing. So that just goes to show like his mental game, like he's a killer. Like he could play bad one game, but he'll bet your ass like he gonna come back. Like he's not gonna let that slide. Like you know what I mean. So he definitely went out there and played hard. Chris Paul, throughout this entire game, like he strangely struggled. I mean, yeah, well, yeah, when you have the nickname the point guard, like you don't expect him to ever struggle. But when you put it in perspective, against this Milwaukee team, the people that are guarding him, guys like Pat Connaughton and Drew Holiday, like those guys, like they're tough defenders. Um, PJ Tucker's been on them at times. Uh, and so like those have been tough assignments, but you still expect Chris Paul to uh come out on top against those guys, be able to use his IQ to figure them out and get them in bad positions and all that kind of stuff. But he had a rough game shooting wise, and he had a uncharacteristic amount of turnovers as well. Like let me look. I think he had like four or five. Let's see, turnovers. Yeah, he had 5 and finishes with -10, so that just sucks to see. especially when coming out in game one, like I mean, he was looking like my Finals MVP. So um, he was definitely struggling, and you don't expect that to continue throughout the rest of the series. Uh, but it'll definitely be critical for them uh, uh, to get Chris Paul to step up, uh, so they can actually secure these wins against this resilient Milwaukee Bucks team. Speaking about that, let me go ahead and get to them. Like Giannis, Giannis, he had a hell of a game. Like he had 26 points, but so he didn't go off like scoring wise like he did in game three where he had like 40 something points, or I think like 41 or 46 or something like that. He didn't go off scoring wise, but he definitely showed up like on the defensive end, like we saw like I had playing on the background over here. Like he had that critical block at like towards the end of the fourth quarter. Like if DeAndre Ayton gets alley oop, like Phoenix still has a chance. So that almost like ices the game for them. Chris Middleton, he definitely stepped up this game. Like this is kind of his show out game. Like last game, he played marginally better than the previous games, but this game, like he like I was saying, like Drew Holiday didn't have the best game scoring wise, but Chris Middleton definitely stepped it up and carried the load, like 40 points. Uh, how many assists? Yeah, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Giannis had 14 rebounds. Uh, and shout out to PJ Tucker. I mean, shout out to all these guys. I'm shout out to a lot of these guys on the Milwaukee Bucks bench and Phoenix's as well. Like a lot of these guys are contributing, and that's obviously what you need in a championship team. Like you need guys like PJ Tucker to defend, like the most talented offensive guy on the other team. And in this game in particular, he was going after offensive rebounds like constantly. Like there was, especially in the first half and in the second half, like when he played, he has so much effort and he's going out there and getting offensive rebounds. Same with Pat Connaughton. In this series, I mean, he only has 11 points, but those 11 points were really huge in my opinion. Like 3 for 7 from 3 points, 4 for 9 uh, total field goals. Uh, Through the previous series, like Pat Connaughton looked like horrible. He looked so bad. I during the regular season, he looked, pretty solid and he would make majority of his shots, but like especially against like Brooklyn, like nobody was hitting anything, and especially him, like he would have wide open threes, and so it wasn't just Joe Harris that was struggling. He was struggling too, in my opinion. Uh, and he was like missing like wide open threes and airballing, and like it was just really bad. But he's definitely stepped it up this series, and they try to Phoenix tries to attack him on defense, but he does a pretty solid job, especially against the smaller Chris Paul. I'm not going to say Devin Booker because Devin Booker is kind of he's he's damn near unstoppable all the time. So, but yeah, he definitely makes some work at least, and puts a lot of effort in, and he's really big and strong for his size. Bobby Portis, I mean, Bobby Portis, he's just like kind of that energy guy. He, especially this game, not many points. Uh, uh, he has a couple 5 rebounds, and not much otherwise, but he had 2 offensive rebounds, which is huge. And I also remember him. I think those 3 points came from like a three in like the second half when Giannis like hit him on a driving kick to help close the lead. So he's hit big buckets. So yeah, shout out to them too. Brook Lopez, I mean, he started out the series okay, but they've kind of adjusted. I mean, shout out to Coach Bud to adjusting his lineups and stuff. You know, like you know, like what everybody was criticizing him for in the previous series and last year, and we know that whole deal. But about him not making adjustments, but he definitely made adjustments now. Like he's going with Giannis at the five most of the time. Like Brook Lopez only played 19 minutes. Uh, So he's definitely playing him less, despite you know he probably likes him and likes how he plays, and he's a great teammate from the reports that they talk about during the game and all that. Um, so from a normal standpoint, it sucks to take him out, but in order to win, he's too much of a liability on defense, probably, to justify him keeping out there. And even though he only played 19 minutes, he still had 14 points. He was in minus 13 though, so that's kind of the give and take that you have with Brook Lopez. Like he's good on offense. He can give you buckets, rebounding, all that type of stuff. But on defense, like they just get around him too much, especially when they play small ball. And that was part of when Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis was out there. That's when Phoenix was able to really open up their lead, and they were able to get guys on the perimeter because I believe they went small, like with Torrey Craig and Jay Crowder at the center and power forward. So they were able to spread the floor and knock a couple threes down. Especially I think of the later in the third or early in the fourth. Um, so they were able to open up the gap that way, but obviously they couldn't sustain that, and part of that is because of Devin Booker fouling and or getting so many fouls drawn on him. Um, like like I was saying earlier, like this has kind of been a thing with Booker. Like he fouled out in one of the games earlier this playoffs. I can't remember if it was against Denver or the Clippers, but he fouled out one game, but the Phoenix were able to close it out. But he fouled out with like maybe like 3 or 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Uh, so I mean, but then at the same time, like that's earlier in the playoffs. Like this is the finals now. Like you need to kind of check yourself defensively, and we'll go ahead and jump to the fourth quarter where Milwaukee is making that comeback. Um, So Milwaukee gets out on the fast break, and it's pretty much a one-on-one or two-on-one with Devin Booker and Drew Holiday, and then like a trailing Giannis and stuff. DeAndre Ayton's also trailing, but I guess this is also at the same time like Devin Booker's at 5 fouls right now with like a couple of minutes, like 4 minutes left in the fourth. Uh, he sat for most. Like, I can't remember if it was like most of the fourth and some of the third, because he got his like fourth and fifth fouls like pretty early. So uh they had to sit him for good portions of this game when if he wasn't in foul trouble, they could have left him in, and he could have. I mean, he went crazy this game. He had 42. Like he was a game leading scorer above even Chris Middleton. Yeah, he had 40. Uh So if he was in like the whole game, he could have had 50 if he wasn't in foul trouble. Like who knows? That's just the type of game he was having today, or I mean, well, yesterday, I mean. But but he was just in foul trouble, and on that fast break, he takes the foul. He purposely fouls Drew Holiday on the layup, and I can't remember if he even raises up his hand afterwards or not, but he has 5 fouls and he fouls Drew Holiday, but for some reason the refs don't call it. Uh, and I kind of and a lot of people on Twitter were going crazy and calling that officiating malpractice and uh just all types of stuff, and I definitely agree with that. Like you gotta call a game like fairly and stuff. Um, there was conversations during the game, like the announcers were talking about the refs call the game differently because the game is played differently, and so there's kind of a back and forth in between the refs and the players and stuff. Um, but something like that, something that obvious, you kind of can't let that go. You got to call that. And I think part of the reason why was the refs didn't want Booker to go out in the NBA finals, fourth quarter, like crunch time, uh, like I don't know, like if the NBA, kind of told them like beforehand, like, oh, don't let none of the star guys foul out, or I don't know what the deal is there. I don't have no type of information at all. This is just me going off whatever could be possible, like making up stuff in my head. That's just what I think. Like they just didn't want them to go out the game because maybe it would have hurt ratings or whatever. But there's actually a tweet down here uh from from this from this page saying game four averaged 10 million viewers, up from 35% from the bubble um finals. And that also kind of puts to rest the discussion we had a couple weeks ago about how someone um, was thinking that, oh, like, oh, ratings could be hurt because it'll be Milwaukee, or it'll just be a couple nobody teams in the NBA finals, when and nobody will want to watch it because it's not the Lakers and Miami, or it's not the Lakers or it's not the Golden State Warriors in Cleveland, or if it's not like LeBron and Brooklyn, or some type of big market team. So yeah, that definitely put that to rest. And like I thought, like these are completely new teams, like hungry, like trying to win their first finals. Like I think this is great. This is all new stuff, very exciting. Like part of the reason why I got kind of bored of the NBA for a while was, during that kind of uh Golden State Cleveland era, cuz like you just knew who was going to get to the finals every year. Um I mean, you had threats from, teams like Houston, and I mean, I can't really think of a team in the East, because anybody in the East, they can never beat LeBron. But anyways, mostly it was like Houston, and I don't know. I just got bored of it, because Golden State and Cleveland, they pretty much had a monopoly, especially Golden State, on the NBA at that time. So you know a figure of speech monopoly on the NBA. But obviously that's over now, and we're getting something completely new now, and I think that's great. So I don't know. I guess according to NBA PR, so I have no idea how reliable that information is, but moving on. I mean, this game was definitely worthy of 10 million views. Like this game went, you know, Milwaukee ends up pulling it out in the end because they make like a fourth quarter comeback. Like I was saying, because Devin Booker fouls out, Chris Paul, does not have a good game. Like he 10 points, like he cannot get a shot to drop, and he was turning the ball over. Uh, so just not good stuff. He had 5 turnovers, and 7 assists. So like almost as many turnovers as assists, which is very weird for Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton, he didn't contribute that much scoring wise. He had a bunch of rebounds, yeah, as you can see, and a lot of defensive rebounds, but not much on the offensive uh, boards. And same with everybody else on the Suns. Everybody else only had like one offensive rebound. Uh, so it's definitely disappointing from Phoenix's side, like, because DeAndre Ayton's not scoring that well either. Mikal Bridges, he's not scoring that well, and in those two original wins that Phoenix had, those two guys, they were playing really well. Uh, like they were like pretty much running the whole offense, like game one through DeAndre Ayton, and uh, Mikal Bridges, like he was just feeding off of that. Like he was getting cuts to the rim, like he was getting all types of shots, and we just haven't seen that uh, like since then from those guys. And weirdly enough, I think it was game one when Jay Crowder went 0 for 7, and now he's scoring like a decent amount. And and then all of a sudden, like, they're overall as a team, like they're not playing well. Uh, I'm not saying, like that has a correlation. It's just funny to notice that. Um, Cameron Payne, he hasn't played that well either. Ever since he got hurt in the Western Conference Finals, like he had a couple games against Denver when he completely showed out and went crazy and helped them helped them secure those two first games to help them sweep the Denver Nuggets. Um, uh, and he just hasn't been his same self. Like he's kind of made like weird dumb plays. I mean, his effort is always there, but his IQ isn't as high as it potentially should be. But but Cameron Johnson, like, shout out to him. Like he's played well, like throughout this entire series, like throughout his entire playoffs. Like him and Devin Booker, like they both played well. I mean, obviously the Devin Booker is a superstar player, but Cameron Johnson, like, uh, he's shown to be not just a shooter. Like he's got some smarts on defense. He's not like a complete mismatch to whoever they switch on to. Uh, and he's got some craftiness like around the rim, and like he's not like I was saying, he's not just a shooter. Like he hits a pump fake, and he goes around guys, and he has a little drive game. Like in game three, he dunked on PJ Tucker, like, which is crazy. Like Cameron Johnson, like he dunked on PJ Tucker, like him. Like you would think, like, oh, maybe Devin Booker, McCall Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, maybe they would dunk on PJ Tucker, but Cameron Johnson, like he's one of the last guys that you would think would dunk on somebody, especially a guy like PJ Tucker. I mean, he did take the charge, so he didn't jump, but still, like he damn near went over him. So but he's played well. Um, Despite being, minus nine, so, whatever, whatever. But I still think he's played well. It's the rest of these guys that kind of have to step up. Torrey Craig, he's had good minutes. I've thought, like, I mean, obviously not during this game, but like before he got hurt, I think it was like game two of the finals. Um, when he had a knee to knee with Giannis, and Torrey Craig came out worse than that. And I feel like since then, he hasn't been his best self. I think they've even said during the game, like, it's still been bothering him and stuff. So that's unfortunate to hear too. Uh, but yeah, it's just got to be. I mean, it's really gonna come down to, the better team will win. And these rebounding numbers, like nobody else is in double digit rebounding or has double digit rebounds except for Aiden. Um, and I've this bigger lineup. I mean, it's not even that the Milwaukee Bucks are running a bigger lineup. They just have a lot of big players, and they're really hustling after especially against like offensive boards, and like they're getting second chance points, so they're getting more shots. So it's really, like, despite Milwaukee not shooting as well all the time, like, because they're getting after those offensive rebounds and putting in the effort on defense, and so they're getting second chance points and fast break points. Like, that's playing to their strengths, and it's just tough to beat them when you turn the ball over and you're not getting the most rebounds that you can. So we'll see who turns it around in game five. Um, we'll Obviously, since the series is tied up 2-2 now, it's pretty much a best of three now, and with Phoenix having home court. Um, so we'll see who comes out on top. Then the next game looks like is on Saturday. Uh, we'll probably we'll probably try. I mean, let's see all games. Okay. Don't, how do I close this? I don't want to. Okay, who do I think will win Game Five? If you want my honest opinion, I think the Suns will bounce back, and they'll they'll uh they'll win Game Five. Uh, like I said, I have them winning the series anyway. But okay, so that's Saturday. Oh, whoops, there goes my week. So Saturday 17th, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday would be game six. Uh, and then Thursday would be game seven. Okay, so uh, I think regardless, we'll probably have a video out for you either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how long the series goes on and stuff. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for this. Phoenix is at home. Hopefully they can figure out this Milwaukee defense. Uh, it's just and hopefully they're able to get because like I was saying, like I feel like those two are the most critical things. Like if they're able to at least stop turning the ball over, that can be huge for them. So they don't give Milwaukee easy shots and uh and also like so they're not able to like prolong the game with uh multiple Milwaukee shots from offensive rebounds and whatnot. Uh it's it's tough to call. It's tough to call. Like I said, I'm sticking with Phoenix, but a lot of people have been clowning on me like for going for Phoenix for some reason. But anyways, yeah, it's just oh, I didn't even finish this point earlier, but top to bottom, like Milwaukee is just like a taller, bigger team than the Suns, which is kind of, I mean, just like Drew Holiday, uh, the two guard like Pat Connaughton or whoever. Yeah, hold up, let's see who the two guard normally is. Uh, Okay. So they start out the game like big, like Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and then PJ Tucker, Giannis, and Brooke. And then normally they swap out Brooke for like Pat Connaughton or Bobby Portis. It's like all these guys are huge except for Jeff Teague. Like they're a little oversized for their position. Like as a two guard, Chris Middleton is definitely large, or tall. I mean, uh, Pat Connaughton. I He's 6'5", which I did not realize. Like for a guard, I thought he was like I thought he was like probably like 6'2", 6'3" at the most. But he's 6'5", and he's 210 pounds pretty much. So he's definitely a good defender and big and stuff. And Drew Holiday 6'3", Chris Paul is 6 foot, and you also have Cameron Payne, who's like 6 foot as well, at the most, like 6'1". Yeah. So these guys are they're definitely playing at a size disadvantage, which makes sense to see that they're losing on the defense or losing it on the rebounding side of things. So, but it's for the Suns, it's got to be you did, and then another thing is you just gotta keep Devin Booker on like the weakest offensive guy on Milwaukee and just have him on an island and tell him not to switch because he really can't afford to be in foul trouble. Like you gotta give up those shots by Drew Holiday or whoever he's guarding. Uh, they just gotta make sure they can't switch on him and he's not getting any dumb fouls. So he's taken out of the game late. Cause that was really huge. Like I said earlier, like he wasn't able to kind of fight back against Milwaukee's momentum that much uh because he was in foul trouble. And even when he was out there after he should have fouled out, uh like he didn't contribute, that much. That I mean, I'm sure that's partially like in his head, like he's thinking like, oh, I'm not even supposed to be out here right now. Like I definitely clearly fouled him, and it was also like a dumb play on his part because he has 5 fouls. Like I get you're trying to stop the momentum, but like you have 5 fouls and you're the leading scorer, like you're going off. Like you can't let your mind slip like that. um So it's just, I mean, but like I'm saying, like I don't expect this stuff to continue. How it's been playing out. Hopefully, Macau Bridges, Cameron Payne, Torrey Craig, hopefully these guys step up a little bit more when they're in front of their home crowd. So we'll just see we'll see how it goes. I got more. I mean, I got Phoenix. Robin's not gonna let me hear the end of this if Milwaukee wins. So I'm a little emotionally invested in Phoenix, but for the show I try to stay neutral. But that just makes the game a little bit more exciting to me to get emotionally invested in one of the teams. So uh, hopefully I think Phoenix will pull this off. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before I forget, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Thank you all for tuning in. I know it's just a solo show for me today. Hopefully we can get Robin and Richard back as soon as possible. Uh, follow us follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shot Caller Show. Go ahead and hit us up. It's probably been a little slow since I've been off Twitter for a couple weeks now, maybe like a month. Uh, so hopefully the other guys are on it a little bit. But we like to talk to y'all, interact with y'all, see how y'all are doing and stuff, um, and just have discussions with y'all and all that type of stuff. Make sure to follow us. We're available everywhere, virtually everywhere. Podcasts can be found. Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, uh, Stitcher, Breaker, and Pocketcasts. So all those good places you can find us and listen to us if you don't feel like looking at my face or looking at this weird background that I got going on right now. Hopefully we can figure this out like for the next one, or you know, I'll have Rich take care of this. He graduated with a degree in production, so I'm sure he can figure this out. But anyways, that's all we have for y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in on this weird type of video. Game 4 was crazy, and see y'all in the next one.